Good evening, everyone. It's Miss Council joining you again for another live with interesting topics and tips. So let's just give everyone a moment to get on with us. Hope everybody had a great weekend and had a powerful Monday, powerful, productive Monday. How about that? So, um, thank you for joining us. We'll get started in just a moment. Let everyone get connected. Please comment, like, and share. I know some of you have been creating watch parties. I appreciate it. Thank you to those who have been sharing these posts. I see my big little brother Rodney on. Hey, I see Shy on. Good to see y'all. I like to see those hearts. Hey, girl. Hey, that's my girl Toya. Um, Good to see y'all on. And I appreciate your support. This is what my second week. Hey, Freddie. Good to see y'all. Y'all check out my new shirt. Miss Council knows this is my official logo. And I have to shout out my girl Angelita. You know, you had that friend that just come through and clutch. That's her. And she drove all the way up here from Timbuktu to bring me those shirts. And so I will be debuting a new shirt each live. Some of you notice I changed my background. Give me a heart. Let me know what you think about my background, y'all. Hey, Christy. Thanks for joining. I feel like Christy's my walking partner. Girl, I'm coming for you this week. Did you see my steps today? I've been stepping it up. Y'all, it's important to keep yourself healthy. Get out there and walk. Walking is free, okay? Now, I promise you, today I hadn't left this house, but anytime I'm on the phone, I'm walking. So, I'm at 22,000 steps, Chrissy. So, coming for your title this week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Terry. Hey, sis. Check it out. My new shirt, Miss Council knows. A little blingage on there. My girl Angelita created these shirts. She knows I like a little glitter, you know. So thank you all for joining me. Again, I hope you are having a powerful, productive Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Um, and thank you all so much for joining me today. That's right, Sharita. Walking is free. Walking is free. How much will it cost you if you had to go to the doctor for the conditions that we end up having if we don't keep ourselves in good health? So walking is free. It clears your mind. It's not always something that I think about doing, but my husband, when he comes home, he's like, how many steps you got for the day? And he encourages me. You know how you get voluntold? It's almost like that. He encourages me, like, all right, come on, we going walking after dinner. So that's our dessert. Hey, big brother, I see you on. Thank you all for joining me. Today's topic, you've probably seen it. What I try to do every Monday and Thursday is generally when I'm going to be live. I try to make sure that I am posting so that you all know what the topic is going to be. So thank you for joining me. A lot have had a lot of feedback, so I appreciate you all joining me. I'm looking for your comments. Last time I'm still working these kinks out, so I had my camera turned horizontally, so I couldn't see your comments. So thank you so much for joining. Hey, Nisi, I see Simone is waving at me. Hey. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. By the way, I did change my background. And got a different look for you. Shout out to my big sister. She knows why. But thank you all so much for joining me here today. I am Miss Council, and I'm a relationship coach, life coach, and I help women who are divorced get their lives back after divorce. And I also help remarried women have more successful second marriages. So today, we're going to talk about the quarantine. It's kind of like that elephant in the room, and we've been avoiding it a little bit. But I've been hearing a lot and seeing a lot on Facebook and talking to different people about how the quarantine has impacted their relationships, whether it's whatever that should be, a friendship, or you're married, you're in a situationship. But it has affected people in so many different ways. So I'm seeing so many different things where people are saying, oh yeah, things are going well, but then other people like, girl, no, we need help. And so I've had some people reach out to me, and I appreciate the feedback, the comments. and also the suggestions for topics to talk about. So, hey, if you have my number or send me a suggestion on Facebook, you can comment on here on this live video. You can comment on my post and just say, hey, D, Miss Council, I want to hear you talk about this. And I got something for you. I always got a good little word to throw at y'all. So, today, again, we're going to be talking about tips to help your relationship, to save your relationship during the quarantine. So, you got two different types of things that are going on. Again, I've seen things out here on the internets. Um, and there are people where things are going well. I've had some good feedback where, couples, relationships are, hey, it's improved the relationship. They're having the time to do the things that they weren't able to do before, like reconnecting. Sometimes we're in a relationship, we're in the hustle and bustle. It takes an hour and a half, 2 hours to commute to and from work. You just don't have the time that you would like, right? So, you may commute again in the morning, and you have a long commute in the evening. Then you come home, you're eating dinner, you take a shower. It's 9 o'clock. It's time to go to bed and do it all over again. So you kind of feel that you don't have that time. So I hear people saying they're having the time to reconnect with their spouses and their significant others, which I think is a great thing. The pandemic that we're under, that we're experiencing in the United States and all globally, it's very unfortunate. And, I'm continuing to pray about it, continue trying to do the things that I can do to keep my family safe, because we're continuously seeing things on the news. And so, I talked to a friend this evening. She said, I had to just disconnect from everything. And you know what? That's for her mental health. And I applaud her efforts in doing that. And she even took some time off of work. That's very important. So you got to take care of you. One thing that you're going to hear me say, I'm going to say it now, and I'm going to say it several times anytime you listen to me. Happiness comes from you. It's within you. It's within me. No one can make me happy if I don't already have that within me. So I can say, oh, my husband makes me happy. He may do something that makes me happy, but it comes from within me. If I'm just a sad person, I'm always, hanging my head low, I can't be cheered up in any way, he can't do that for me. It starts within me, and it doesn't come from someone else. So I just want to say that. I almost feel like it's a disclaimer. But so let's talk about back to talking about those relationships where things are going well. They're reconnecting. They're talking more. Some people are being more creative, and and in the ways that they spend time together. Y'all, we didn't know how long this was going to last. In the beginning, it was like, oh, school is postponed for 2 weeks or a month. And I was like, oh, my kid is going to get bored real fast. And so I went outside and I found some rocks. So some of y'all have seen these rocks. I went outside, I found some rocks, and I have all of these paints and crafts, or art supplies. And as a family, we painted rocks. And they know with me, it's not just ever, we are just going to do this activity. We got to talk about it. So the three of us painted rocks, and I said, well, explain what your rock means. I was just trying to engage my family so that everybody's not, in different places, and, we actually spend some time together. Let's pull everybody in so we can talk to each other, interact, do something fun, do something funny. And if something funny might be making fun of me because of the fact that, I'm coming up with painting rocks. I literally went outside in the yard and picked some rocks and washed them and put them out to dry, and we painted them. But it was an activity to come together. And guess what? That was free. I'm not saying go out and paint some rocks, but everybody has a deck of cards. You have board games. Um, you can people. I love these TikTok videos that I've seen with couples, families. The don't rush, where they're taking a picture and they're all in their robe with their headscarves on, and then next thing you know, they're all dressed up. you know. So we haven't done that. I don't know if hubby's gonna go for that. We getting dressed up and we ain't going nowhere. Okay, but I think my daughter, that would be fun for her. But getting creative, doing things together, that's important. So, hey, while we're talking about it, share in the comments, what are some of the things that you have done with your spouse, your significant other, your family? What have you done to entertain them or to connect while this pandemic has been going on? What have you been doing? Tell me about it. Um, like I said, things are going well for some people. So I want to hear, what are some things that you all are doing? Hey, Jay, I see that you just jumped on with us. Um, and on the flip side of it, the quarantine is killing some people's relationship. I'm hearing about it. I saw on Facebook the other day somebody said um, that they just want their husband to get a paper cut, then go wash dishes with a cap full of Clorox in it. I'm like, ooh, ouch, that's gonna hurt. But when you have more time to be around each other, you kind of see things that you don't normally see, right? Um, and so I think that I can imagine people like, oh my gosh, why is he still in this room with me? Like, why do you keep trying to talk to me while I'm watching House Hunters? you know, I mean, it's things like that that can um, be little annoyances that I think that people kind of deal with having to be with their spouse all the time. There's situations where for work, a person may be away from home for a long period of time, and then when they come home, they're tired. There's no time to interact and have any issues. So um the silence doesn't seem so loud. It seems like, oh well, the relationship is great when you're not around each other as much. But now that we're home most of the time, everybody's around each other, and you find that you may not enjoy some of the activities that they do. Why is that person chewing so loud, or why is it that they're snoring? Like, well, they already always chewed loud. They always snored. These are things that you're kind of just realizing now. So, I was having another conversation this morning. I talked to a whole lot of people, and doing my research and everything. Some married, some in relationships, some not. And I run things by them. But one of the conversations I had this morning was about, that smiling face that we put on for work. When we go to work, we have our interview face on. Hello, how are you doing today? And we're very proper, we're very nice, even when we don't want to be. If our boss said something, like I shared with y'all the last time, my boss said something slick, and the way I handled it was um, in my corporate persona. I didn't handle it like, I probably would if I was out, outside of work. And so I'm able to still work with him and put a smile on my face, like, oh, hello, good morning, how you doing? So that work persona is the person that keeps showing up. But I'm not holding a grudge about it. And I'm able to move on because of the nature of the relationship, right? So we have this smiling face that we put on for work, but as soon as we get home, I don't know if it happened in the parking lot or if it happens as you drive into your driveway or your garage and let the door down, but that smiling face just leaves by the time you get home and you walk into the door. Then it's like WWE SmackDown Raw. You ready to jump off the ropes, like you ready, all no holds barred. You pulling off the gloves with the person that you're with, your significant other, your spouse. The claws are coming off at the person who's just been waiting for you to get there. Or maybe they're the ones who are receiving you in that way, like, oh, here he go, coming in his door. You know why he here? Because he lived there. That's why. But sometimes that's how we treat each other. So why is the quarantine killing your relationship? You, them, y'all. um, I say that relationships require effort. I'll say a relationship shouldn't be work, but effort. It's an effort. When you get home, you still have to put your best foot forward. You still have to put in effort just as you do at work. If you get a new assignment, you have to work and you have to put in some effort. When you're doing that, you want to make sure that your name stays in the mouths of people in a good way. But when we go home, we kind of leave that at the door, and it's kind of like, I don't have to be that person anymore. But I want to submit to you that if you did handle it like a business, and I'll talk about that, there'll be a topic for a later time, is managing your relationship like a business, or your marriage like a business. um that would change things. What if you put in that effort just to make that person smile? And what if in turn they did the same thing for you? What if we actually got back what we put into a relationship? Not saying, oh, I'm tired. All right, well, if you're tired, then maybe you need to adjust your schedule, you know, so that you can put in the effort. Or I have kids and, I have to put them down for, to go to sleep and everything. And um, I don't have time to interact with my husband or my significant other after that because I'm tired. Well, put them children to bed earlier. Growing up, and I have my siblings on here tonight too. They'll let you know 9 o'clock. I don't care how old you were. If you were 18 or senior high school, 9 o'clock. Good night. You ain't got to go to sleep, but don't get out of that bed. Don't. You can't be on the phone. But whatever that time is, the younger they are, the earlier they go to bed, right? But regardless, take time for your relationship. You should definitely take time for you as well. I mean, I constantly speak to women and I say that. What did you do for yourself today? Carve at least an hour out to do exactly what it is that you want to do to prepare yourself so that you can be a better you for your children, better you for your spouse. Hey, you'll be a better worker because you'll be in a better space. That's important. And some people on here, I've talked to you before about that and said, you know what, do something for you today. Well, I can't carve, Miss Council, I can't carve out an hour. Okay, well, let's find these 15 minutes. Tell me about your day. What have you been doing today? Well, what are some times where we could have carved out some time? And look, if I'm not gonna judge you, if your 15 minutes, your hour is um being on Facebook, liking posts, hey, that's okay too. Do what's best for you, whatever puts you in a good mental space. I like to tell people that journaling is a good way to kind of take time out in your day. Create your routine for you, so that you have time to wind down. If you're in a better space, and you have peace in your life, you have the ability to give more to other people. So, y'all know I like to always give y'all some tips. Y'all got questions? Y'all got questions? Let me see what we got in here. Oh, okay. So I got some comments in here. Okay. Playing the Wii. Hey, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Listening to podcasts together. What type of podcast? I'd like to hear about that, Jay. Listening to podcasts. You can listen to so many different types of podcasts. I'd be interested to know what you're listening to with your partner. Um, Early morning walks, that's a good way to connect. That like I mentioned, me and my husband have been doing that. That helps me kind of relax my mind and gets the fitness in, trying to beat Christy this week on my steps. So, getting that in, that fitness together, but also, it's peaceful and it's a time we're getting to spend together. Oh, all right, little brother, game and movie nights. Hey, we're always suggesting different movies and stuff like that we can watch. We like lots of different types of movie, but sometimes it's, oh, do you want to watch comedy? You want to watch some action or whatever it is. So we just kind of talk about it. All right, Daisy, I see you're on. Um, my brother says the early bedtime still applies to his children. You got an 18-year-old. You making that girl go to bed early, Rodney? Um, we have a question here. Journaling. So, I say journaling about your day. A lot of times, we need to do a mind dump. My mind goes like a million miles per second. So if I start talking fast, I need y'all to say, hey, slow down a little bit because I'm trying to get out everything that's in my mind. And sometimes in the evening, that's when, I mean, my mind is really working. It's really churning, coming up with ideas. And so writing things down. It frees your mind so that you can rest, and it's kind of you giving yourself permission to let that thought go. And so when I suggest to people that they journal at night before they go to bed or in the evening, it helps them kind of get those thoughts and ideas out, and also a recap of the day. Back in the day when we were little, we had the diary with the little lock on it. Um, that I'm sure my little brother was able to pick. No, I'm just joking. But but journaling and getting those thoughts out, getting those feelings out. And it may not, journaling, I look at it as something that's for you, something that's private, that you're not sharing with other people. So just more so, like I said, journaling about the day, journaling about your private thoughts. Okay, Jay shared some thoughts on the podcast that she listens to with her significant other, business mindset. Oh, Gary V. Jay, I remember us talking about Gary V. and also Brendan Bouchard. So good things. Hey, you could definitely do something that's going to be productive for you and the goals that you have. Um, Hey, Christy, that's a good point. Christy says she's a single person, but she can walk with her family and share movies for them to watch. That's right. Those are things that you can do, and I'm glad you brought that up. As a single person. Again, I want to go back to for my single people out there. I know a few of you are on and are going to listen to this video, this live video later on. You know, I want to restate for everybody, whether you're single, you're divorced, you're looking, you're married, whatever it is, your current status is. Happiness comes from within you. And then I was just talking about journaling. That's for everybody. That's for everybody. Everybody needs that peace when they go to bed at night. Everybody needs to be able to lay those burdens or whatever is on your mind. Or for me, I'm always trying to plan something. So I'm like, oh, what's going to be my next topic? And let me write these tips down, because as they come to me, if I don't write them down, I'll forget them, because I know y'all don't think that I'm just memorizing everything. As things come to me, I kind of work through them and I make notes about them. Um, so those are some of the things that I think that we can do as individuals to help ourselves and be better in relationships, whether that relationship be with another person or that relationship be at work. Um, so I want to leave you with tips. Y'all know I always got some good stuff for you. I don't never try to hold you long, but I want to leave you with some tips. Again, happiness comes from within you. So you as an individual are responsible for your own happiness. Um, so my first tip is, when it comes down to the tips for saving your relationship during quarantine, don't make excuses. Um, we know what excuses are, and different people will say it in a different way, but don't make excuses. Now you have the time to do the things that you didn't have time to do before, right? You have time for that. And making excuses and like, oh, well, we've been together too long and I don't know what she likes, or I don't know what type of stuff he wants to do. Those are just excuses. You know, excuse me, find out what those things are and talk to them. So don't make excuses because you have the time. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And, we're always in the hustle and bustle of life and coming and going and passing each other and just saying hey and bye. And that now I'm looking at the bright side of things. There's an opportunity for us to reconnecting with our loved ones. So many people have been lost during this pandemic, and it's just an eye opener that for me, that we need to love each other every day, enjoy each other's company for the time that we have, because we never know the day nor the hour when we will no longer be here. So um, make time now to do the things that you didn't have time to do before. My second tip is to rediscover what that person likes. What is it that they like? You will ask me, how in the world am I going to rediscover that? It doesn't matter how long you've been with somebody, you can always discover something new and say, huh, I didn't know that about you. But talk to them and ask them questions. That's what you do. Um, Although I should know this because I cooked dinner for him. I asked my husband a few weeks ago. I was preparing for his birthday, and I asked him, I was like, what's your all-time favorite meal? He was like, wings and fries. I'm like, that's easy. But I was trying to plan something special, of course, that I could pick up for dinner for his birthday. But although, he eats every day and I'm 9 times out of 10 the one who cooked it, um, I should know that. But I wanted to ask him, what is your favorite meal? I know there's some things that he does like, but I said, what is it that you like? You don't have to guess, just ask a person. Um, Also, I found on Pinterest that they have these list of questions that you can use to start conversations. So, some conversation starters. You just need two willing participants to have a dialogue back and forth. And the way it works is one person asks the question, the other person answers, and then you flip and you answer the same question. So, um, Sunday is our day, and I'll ask him a list of questions, which leads into my third point, my third tip, which is a weekly check-in. So I use those questions sometimes as a conversation starter for our weekly check-in. It's a pulse check. When I was talking to my husband about, my tips for the night, I was like, he said, it's a pulse check. I was like, you're right. That's what it is. How we doing? And it's an opportunity if things aren't going the way you think it should, or there's an issue, or it gives you a space, a safe space. And you have to, as a couple or in a relationship, you have to create that safe space to say what you mean what you say, but say how you feel about things. That's so important. And being very clear about how you feel about things, and communicating that. It's not easy. I don't want you to think that life is perfect, every relationship is perfect, or that I believe that they are. But it's not easy. But every time you have a difficult conversation, you put some thought into it, and you're able to come out of it on the other side like, whew, I did it. I relate that to my first live video. Y'all, I was so nervous. 3 minutes before showtime, I was like, I'm gonna be all right. That was just last week, I think. you know, and afterwards I was like, whew, okay. And I feel like when you have those tough conversations, and you're able to speak to that significant other and tell them, remember when this happened this week. Now, I said a weekly check-in. Don't be coming up with something that happened back in March. You done missed the opportunity. Weekly check-in, that means 7-day period. Is there anything that, don't say get off your chest, say it with your chest, none of that sound aggressive. But to be able to have a conversation, and in a respectful manner share your thoughts and feelings on how a situation made you feel. And which leads into my fourth tip is listen. Yeah, it's just one word. Y'all thought I was going to say something else. Listen. So when you ask a question, that's it. Just listen. Don't have nothing to say back at all. This is stuff that I learned. I don't want y'all to think I came out the womb like this and with all this advice. These are things that I know, not what I heard, okay? So just sit there and listen and be prepared. Like when I say be prepared for the answer, just know that when you share with somebody that there was something that happened that hurt you, or whatever that feeling is that you're expressing, know they're going to have a response. And it may not be how you crafted it in your mind, but you want to be open to receiving what their response is going to be. But also when you're asking questions, and also the person that's, if you're the person who's the recipient of those questions, or those thoughts that are being shared, you have to be open to receiving what you're hearing, and neither one of you be defensive. Like, if the person that you're with, that they care about you, you got to think about, why am I with this person? I would think that's because they care about you. Y'all like each other, love each other, something like that. So you wouldn't want to hurt that person. So if you have that in mind, you shouldn't have to be strapping up your gloves and taping up your hand and everything like y'all about to have a smackdown. You're open. It's a safe space, remember, during that check-in. So listen to what that person has to say. My fifth point and my final point is focus on a smile. Just focus on it. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. What can I do today to bring a smile to his or her face? What can I do? Now, it doesn't have to be anything that's really a really big gesture. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to cause a whole lot of planning. I promise you, my husband loves gummy bears, and it's a certain brand, and if he's out of gummy bears, I just pick that up. He happy. I put a little note on it, put it in a certain spot, and he just, you know, just thinking about that person. Um, Putting little notes somewhere. That might sound corny, but you got to know your people and what it is that they like. You got to know your person. Um, know their love language. How is it that they receive love? My love language is quality time. My husband knows that. He's known that. But you've got to know who it is that you are with and what it is that they need to feel loved, and vice versa. Because you want somebody to treat you a certain type of way, you got to treat them a certain type of way, you know. So, um, in this tip, focus on getting that smile. Focus on what it is that makes them happy. Remember, happiness comes from within you as an individual, but we're not talking about you. We're talking about your significant other. So it should be some selfless act. I'm gonna run that back. A selfless act. That means you don't get nothing out of it. This ain't about their reaction other than doing something that's going to make them smile. So you're not looking for certain words from them. You're not looking for certain acts as a response or as a thank, nothing more than thank you. I appreciate it. Now, person on the other side, you got to be a recipient of that and be willing to, you acknowledge when someone does something nice for you. That's what we do. That's what we do at work. Oh, I picked up your copies off of the printer. Oh, thank you. Right? But let somebody cook you a whole dinner or go get your car washed and your tires rotated and get your oil changed, you be like, they didn't have to do that. You able bodied, you could have done it yourself, right? But you acknowledge when somebody does something for you. Hey, that'll put a smile on my face when my husband go on vacuum out my car, because I know I ain't gonna do it. So when he says, when he does things, you gotta acknowledge that person and show your appreciation for that and say thank you. Every time I cook a meal and put it in front of him, he says thank you. Every time my daughter comes in and makes her plate, she says thank you, because they ain't eating hot dogs. They ain't eating bologna sandwiches. I put some love in it. Y'all, I was in the kitchen yesterday for about 2 hours. It might have been 2.5 hours cooking it up. So, I put some work and some love into that meal, because I wanted, that's one of the ways that I show love to my family is I come up with these different recipes, and, I sit up there like waiting in anticipation, like I'm waiting for that first bite so that people can, so I can see what they think about it. And when they come back and say, you know what, that was really good. Hey, know that it was made with love. Well, I thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to review my 5 tips just in case y'all were writing them down and I talked too fast. Number 1, don't make excuses. Um, Number 2, rediscover what your person likes by asking them questions. Number 3, do a weekly check-in or post check. Number 4, listen. When you ask a question, listen to them for their answer. Don't ask them, don't formulate a response. And number 5, focus on the smile, because you want to do something for them that's going to make them smile. Something from you that's a selfless act. Thank you so much for taking your time out once again to join me. Again, Miss Council knows, shouting out my girl Angelita for making these shirts for me that I'll be showing you this week. And next week, I have another one for next week. But thank you all so much for joining me. Please like, share, and post. I will post this live video as soon as this is over. If you know somebody who needs to hear this message and my other messages, please ask them to go to the Miss Council, MISS Council, you see it, Miss Council page, and like the post, share it, tag them in it, whatever you need to do. Please join. If you're divorced woman, please join the Divorced Like Us Facebook group where there will be more support and more tips just like this. If you have some ideas, reach out to me. You have an anonymous question, I won't even mention your name. I'll say a friend. Or you have thoughts, please don't hesitate to share them with me. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Miss Council. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you back here on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Check out Miss Council's page so you can know what that topic is going to be. Y'all be blessed. Good night.